This Technicality Q&A episode is brought to you by Dashlane. I can't tell if you're 12 or 20. Me neither, honestly.
I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride until I can't no more. I got the horses in the back, horse that gives a track.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have what is quite possibly the most amazing news I've ever encountered. It's definitely the greatest thing to happen to humans in our lifetime, nay, our millennium. I now have a page on famousbirthdays.com. I've peaked. I've officially peaked at age 17. And you know how I know that? It's because it says I'm 17 on famousbirthdays.com. Oh, I like the photo of me they used, but let me just say, I went to Disneyland recently and got some quality pics. This one's the eternalpain.png. This one's the, Mom, come pick me up. This one's the, wait, where am I? How did I get here? And finally, this one's the yeehaw in F minor. Alright, so we recently hit 50,000 subscribers, which is insane. Thank you so much. So today I wanted to answer some of your questions. I asked people to submit some questions on my Instagram story, which, by the way, totally shameless plug. Follow me on Instagram, @AlexUNickel. What are these hand gestures? Anyways, my friend Kusha submitted, what drives you to produce unique content? And that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Back in April, I went on a class trip to Alaska, and it was pretty amazing. Alaska is beautiful, and I'm a big outdoorsman, so I really loved it. Whilst hiking one day, my good friend Billy came up to me and said, kinda out of the blue, hey Alex, what's Technicality's purpose? I was kinda confused for a second, and then I told him the usual elevator pitch I tell everyone. Technicality takes a closer look at our awesome universe, but he's like, no, that's your mission. What's your purpose? Why do you do what you do? I didn't really have a good answer for him at the time, but fast forward a month. I was asked to give a TEDx talk at the Woodside Priory School, which was incredible. I talked about science communication and technicality and whatnot, and there I actually had an answer for Billy. So many educational creators on YouTube have made me a better learner. They instilled a love of learning in me and made me an endlessly curious person.
So that's my purpose for Technicality, to try to make other people love learning as much as these people have made me.
That's what drives me to produce unique content. Oh, speaking of which, if you want to watch the TEDx talk yourself, it's live on the TEDx YouTube channel right now. You can either click the I or the link in the description if you want to check it out. Joel asks, what subject is the most elusive that you haven't figured out a way to cover it yet? Joel, I'm so glad you asked this because I have an answer and it's been bugging me for a while. See, last semester in my US history class, I wrote this paper. It's called The Lost Generation Revisited, How Industrialization Impacted Interwar American Culture and Art. And it is massive. The paper itself is 9 pages, but the whole thing with the indices and the works cited and whatnot is 18. Here's the gist of the paper. People who lived in America in the interwar period, or the period between World War I and World War II, are commonly known as the Lost Generation. The archetypal member of the Lost Generation was thought to be lonely, unhappy, and hopeless as a result of the brutality of World War I. I think there are 2 things wrong with this assessment. One, while Americans in the interwar period did feel isolated and melancholic, they didn't feel hopeless. And 2, the root cause of these emotions was not merely the brutality of World War I, but really industrialization. We don't need to prove this using facts and logic, but instead we can look towards the art produced during the interwar period, specifically the paintings of Edward Hopper and the novel The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I am so proud of this paper. This and like my compost video are my 2 favorite pieces of academic work I've ever produced, but for the life of me, I have no idea how to turn this into a video. And to add salt to the wound, I think this is a really important thing to talk about. Mundanity, loneliness, and monotony were major themes in the art produced in the interwar period, and those themes are once again relevant today. Philip, who runs the excellent YouTube channel Volksgeist, asked favorite musical artist, and mine is Tyler the Creator, in part because one of his albums, Flower Boy, explores these very themes. While the 20th century had F. Scott Fitzgerald and Edward Hopper, the 21st century has Tyler the Creator and songs like Boredom and 911 Mr. Lonely, both of which are on this LP. I feel like this next question has got to be one of the most asked questions in the past couple of months. Why did you cut your hair? I used to look like this and now I look like this. The haircut got a lot of reactions, mostly positive, some negative. Thank you guys, very cool. Well, at least I don't look like Carl anymore, so people can stop commenting that all the time. And go back to commenting, wow, your voice dropped, how wacky. The story of why I cut my hair is really a story of personal growth, and it starts in 6th grade. This is gonna get kind of personal for a hot second, so brace yourself, please be kind, here we go.
So when I was in 6th grade, I spent all of my lunches... Thank you. I heard a mix of laughs and awes, so cool. In 6th grade, I spent all of my lunches in the science classroom watching science YouTubers. I know, right? My social life was popping.
Yeah, that was a bit of an upbeat oversimplification. When I was in middle school, I had a tendency to sort of isolate myself because I really preferred just doing my own thing, mix in plenty of social awkwardness, and I wasn't like a super pleasant person to befriend. Admittedly, I'm probably more critical of myself in hindsight, but that's not that far from the truth. It was around the end of 8th grade when I realized some of the errors in my ways, and just imagine you're a little 8th grader and you're suddenly overcome with regret for how you've acted the past 3 years. That was an experience. The whole process inspired a lot of reflection, and going into freshman year of high school, I was pretty happy with the improvements I made. But at the end of freshman year, I kind of found myself in a similar situation. I was happy with how things were going for a while, but then suddenly I kind of regretted how I acted. In a moment of deja vu, I underwent the exact same process, a process I now like to call the cycle of growth. This cycle is how I learned from my experiences to become a more mature person. Basically, it starts with me just living my life, and then I realize that the way I've been living my life is seriously flawed, and I've wasted my time, and oh god, oh frick, I regret everything! And then I realized I can learn from my mistakes, so I congratulate myself on being so much of a better person than before, and then I go back to living my life, and the cycle continues and continues. It's like a bunch of mini life crises that all work together to help me grow into the person I want to be. Like a bunch of quarter life crises. Well, actually, according to famousbirthdays.com, I'm 17, so it's probably closer to like a 21 100th life crisis, but that doesn't really roll off the tongue. As I continued to go through high school, I continued to undergo cycles of growth. And then, last fall, my friend Elise, pictured here holding a bird, cut my hair. Yes, my friend, who I later learned did not have as much haircutting experience as I thought she did. So how much haircutting experience did you have before you cut my hair?
Before the mountain school, I cut my dog's hair once.
So why did I do it? Well, this might not be that satisfying, but I just kind of wanted to. Maybe the haircut is just a side effect of my growth, a symbol that things change. So what do I think is the next step in terms of how I'll continue to develop as a person? Well, I've got one more year of high school left, and in it I hope to complete as many cycles of growth as possible. And then there's college. Oh, a bunch of people have asked about college, by the way. It was probably the most asked question for this Q&A. I am very excited to go to college. I was recently chatting with John Green, which I'm pretty sure is the coolest way I've ever started a sentence, and we were discussing the trend of YouTubers dropping out of or not going to college to pursue YouTube. While I of course have nothing negative to say about people who do drop out to be a YouTuber, I just don't think that's the path for me. As you can probably tell from my channel, I love learning. I value an education. And I value not just the academic, but also social growth that comes from college. I mean, you're in a completely new environment, and in my experience, that's when you grow the most as a person. John Green also endorsed college, by the way. It was pretty surreal to hear my childhood hero say, "Oh, you'll get into a good college, don't even worry about that." Knowing that, I guess the next question to ask is, how long is this channel going to be around? And the answer to that is quite a while. Trust me, I ain't going away anytime soon. I'm not looking to go viral tomorrow. I'm not looking to be famous. I'm proud of the community we have created, and sure, I'd love millions of subscribers, that'd be awesome, but that's also not the goal. The goal is not for me to churn out videos optimizing for quantity over quality just to appease some algorithm. The goal is for me to go to sleep at night knowing that I've put absolutely everything I've got into a video, and that I made the best possible video I could. The goal is for me to strive to make content that you find valuable and enriching and worth your time. The goal is for me in 60 years, when I'll be 77 according to famousbirthdays.com, to look back on my life and think that I made content that I'm proud of, and that I'm proud to show my kids and my grandkids. I can picture it all quite vividly. My wife and I own an apple orchard. It's close enough to a big city that we could spend our time there, but far away enough so that we're surrounded in nature, with an endless amount of scents for my dog to smell. It doesn't have to be a big apple orchard or anything, maybe just a couple rows. Just enough so I could pick apples to my heart's content. And every winter, all of my kids, all their spouses, and all of their kids would gather there. And then I can recount various tales of my life. I'll tell my grandkids about the cycles of growth I went through when I was their age, and I'll listen to the cycles of growth they're going through themselves. I'll show them my videos. I'll give them a window into my life. And I'll sit back, and I'll be proud, and I'll be happy. That's the goal. So yeah, that's my little goal, my little dream, and I wanted to take a moment and say thank you, because you have supported me through all of this. It's been a pretty surreal 5+ years, and I can't wait to make content for you for years and years to come. I also want to thank Dashlane for helping make my technicality ambitions possible. If you're like me and concerned about your online safety, Dashlane is the essential tool for you, because it's a password manager, a VPN, and a security monitor all in one, and it's way cheaper than if you were to get all of those tools separately. Signing into websites and online accounts is painless with Dashlane. Dashlane, because it'll auto-sign you into your accounts when you visit websites, it'll work on every device and every platform, and it'll generate super secure passwords for you whenever you sign up for new accounts. I honestly couldn't imagine my life without Dashlane. This tool is a legit lifesaver. So if you want to support the channel and get Dashlane for free today, you can sign up at dashlane.com/technicality. Plus, if you want to upgrade to the premium plan, you can use the code Technicality for 10% off. My goal for the rest of 2019 is to make an upload schedule. Those of you who listen to the podcast Cortex with CGP Grey and Mike Hurley know that they like to set one-word themes for the year each year. And back in January, I set a word too. Build. So I think a very fitting goal for the year of build is to build a robust upload schedule. Like I said, I'm going to be a senior in high school this year, so college applications are going to take up a lot of my time, and that's on top of me now working for education.com, which is really cool, and being the chair of my city's youth commission, and publishing my book. What? Coming out this October? What? Needless to say, my plate is very, very full right now, so we're going to try a 1 video every 5-week schedule for the rest of 2019, and go from there. Thank you so much to my patrons at patreon.com/technicality, especially these truly amazing people on screen right now. Thank you for watching DFTBA. See you on September 30th and explore on. Say subscribe to Technicality to the channel.
To the channel.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Technicality.
There you go. I'm not paying her to say that too.
What?
What?